Hi, I'm John Montgomery, Director of Program Management for Visual Studio and .NET. In this video, I'll take a quick look at some of what's new in Visual Studio 2017. I'll start with an overview of the improvements for mobile and cloud development, then show a few ways we've made Visual Studio faster. Finally, I'll wrap up by showing how Visual Studio 2017 improves productivity for everything from typing code to navigation to code quality. Visual Studio 2017 is a great mobile development tool. It makes it easy to use your existing skills with C#, JavaScript, and C++ to productively build mobile applications for Android, iOS, and Windows devices. JavaScript developers can use React, Ionic, and Cordova to build apps that share all their code. C++ developers can build native libraries they can share across all mobile OSs. And for C# developers, Visual Studio uses the Xamarin technology to create fully native apps that have native UI, use native device capabilities, and have native performance. Visual Studio 2017 makes it easy to bring your existing C# skills to Android and iOS applications and is tremendously productive. As an example, Xamarin Forms boosts your productivity with a library of native controls that work well across all mobile platforms. And the VS 2017 profiling and live inspection for Xamarin Forms make it one of the most productive experiences you can imagine. VS 2017 also adds the Live Player, which connects VS 2017 directly to your mobile device, so you get F5 speed inner-loop productivity against your device without having to go through a full app packaging. In addition to making individual developers productive, we want to make your full mobile development lifecycle better. To help with that, VS 2017 integrates with Visual Studio App Center, a cloud DevOps service for mobile that brings together all the capabilities a modern mobile developer needs: crash dump analysis, telemetry and analytics, push notifications, beta distribution, and it gives you access to a powerful device test cloud that enables you to test your applications on real devices in the cloud. Having an integrated cloud DevOps solution for mobile transforms how you do mobile development. The mobile revolution changed how we think of client software pretty deeply. The cloud is changing server and web development at least as much. More than that, the cloud is changing the processes we use to develop software and speeding teams to embrace DevOps. Visual Studio 2017 makes it easy and familiar to adapt to these cloud practices and technologies. It includes full support for .NET Core 2, Microsoft's open-source microservices platform that runs on Linux and Windows. It also has full integration with Docker, enabling you to easily containerize your applications and deploy them to the cloud. It has advanced tools for serverless computing with Azure Functions. And VS 2017 makes it easy to set up and use DevOps best practices, with tools to make creating a continuous delivery pipeline simple. .NET Core 2 is at the heart of VS 2017 cloud development. It is an open-source, cross-platform microservices development framework that enables you to use your familiar C#, VB, and F# skills to create fast, scalable, cross-platform web applications and microservices. It also has deeply integrated support for Docker containers and Azure, including debugging, profiling, and editing. With a single gesture in Visual Studio 2017, you can take a .NET Core application, target it to Linux, package it into a Docker container, and then, with the same publishing flow you use today in Visual Studio to publish web applications to Azure App Service, you can publish it to a Docker registry and run it in the cloud. Once deployed, .NET Core will run your app fast. According to the Tech Empower benchmarks, .NET Core is well into the top 10 platforms in terms of performance and considerably faster than today's ASP.NET. Once you've started to create cloud applications, you will want a development process that fits your new cloud development model. More and more companies are finding that traditional waterfall processes can't keep pace with the cloud and are moving to DevOps, investing in retraining and retooling their teams. VS 2017 here helps by making it easy to set up a continuous integration system and continuous deployment pipeline backed by Visual Studio Team Services. You just right-click on the solution, click Configure Continuous Delivery, and VS 2017 will transparently set up Visual Studio Team Services for automated build, and it will configure continuous deployment as well, using Team Services release management tools. This delivery system scales from the simplest websites to the most complex applications. We even use Team Services Release Management for Visual Studio 2017 itself, powering our ability to release Visual Studio multiple times each day. We didn't just add new features to Visual Studio 2017, we made it faster, and we keep making it faster. We track the performance of Visual Studio in our test labs and using the telemetry from people who are in our Customer Experience Improvement program. Across the board, VS 2017 is faster, up to 3 times faster for a cold start and 2 to 4 times faster at loading solutions. C++ developers get faster builds, and overall VS 2017 uses less memory. Visual Studio 2017 even installs more quickly. A minimal installation can take a handful of minutes and a few hundred megabytes. Normally, when I show how VS 2017 is faster, I load a large solution side by side with Visual Studio 2015. But with a new feature we're working on, I can even show you how much faster VS 2017 is today than the day we released it. On the left is VS 2017 version 15.4, and on the right we have 15.5. Both are loading a test project with 10,000 tests, but the one on the right uses real-time test discovery, which uses a Roslyn analyzer to discover tests and populate the Test Explorer. This makes test discovery significantly faster, and it keeps the Test Explorer in sync with code changes. The result, VS 2017 is usable sooner. VS 2017 is not only faster, it's also more productive at the things you do every day. Code analysis, architecture validation, and test results are no longer separate experiences with their own windows. VS 2017 brings critical information smoothly into your editing experience. One of the most powerful features in VS 2017 is live unit testing, which continuously runs your unit tests against your code as you're typing. A green check says the line is covered and the test is passing. A blue dash says the line is not covered. And a red X says the line's covered and at least one test is failing. To find out what's going on, I'm going to start the full Visual Studio Debugger on these tests. I get access to all of the features in the Visual Studio Debugger, run to click, and this new one in Visual Studio 2017 called the Exception Helper, which is showing me that I have a null reference exception on notes. I'll stop debugging, and normally I would right-click and navigate to, but in this case I can use a new feature in Visual Studio 2017, a control click, to quickly navigate to the file where there's a problem. I'll then use another neat feature in Visual Studio 2017, Control Dot, which is a quick fix, and here I will add a null check. In a moment, you will see these red X's turn to green checks, and my tests are passing. VS 2017 also has improved debugging, typing, and code navigation. The debugger is not just faster, but it simplifies navigating your code while debugging with features like Run to Click, which does what a temporary breakpoint would do, but without having to set a temporary breakpoint. IntelliSense is smarter with better filtering and auto-completions, and access to many more refactorings and quick fixes. And code navigation in VS 2017 is also notably improved, with features like Navigate To and an improved output window. Navigation in VS 2017 is also notably improved. Here I'm showing Go to All, a feature you can access through Control-T or Control-Comma. I can quickly see all the files, types, and events in my solution that match a name. Notice as I arrow up and down, the files are open temporarily in the document well, so I have some context. And I can filter them by the specific type of thing that I'm looking for. In this case, I'm looking for a file, and I'll open it. We've also improved IntelliSense in VS 2017, matching partial terms and boldfacing the match in the dropdown. Since I know I'm looking for an enum, I can filter to enums and complete. VS 2017 also has smart variable naming. Notice the suggestions, which are derived from the name of the type. By pressing Control Dot, I can use a quick fix to initialize the property, and I'm ready to go. But before I do, I want to show one more thing. VS 2017 also overhauled the Find All References window with better grouping, preview, and colorization. Changes like these, the smart variable naming, Go to All, and groupings and Find All References are just a few examples of the small and big ways VS 2017 makes everyday coding a pleasure. Our goal was to make Visual Studio 2017 be more productive for everything you do. It's faster, makes it easier to create mobile and cloud applications, and includes a host of features that will improve everyday editing, debugging, and testing. This short video touches on just a few of the improvements in VS 2017. For more information and to download Visual Studio, go to visualstudio.com. While you're doing that, watch some of the other videos about what's new. And once you've had some time in the product, tell us what you think. Just select Help, Send Feedback to report a problem, provide a suggestion, or just to rate the product. Have fun with Visual Studio 2017, and thanks for watching.